Hello, good evening, everyone. Can everyone hear me? If you can hear me, kindly use your emoji sign. This is your emoji sign if you can hear me. Okay, thank you so much for that. Thanks so much for joining our webinar today. Today we will be Today we'll be discussing how to land your first accounting job, what employers are looking out for beyond your degree. But before we start, I would want to say that please do well to share the link with everyone that you know ought to be on this call, your friends, your colleague, your community. Please do well to share the link with them so that they can join. We will be starting this meeting officially by 6:05. So please, if you know anyone that ought to be on the call, please do well to let them know that the meeting has started. Also, I would like to say that while we are waiting to start, I want us to drop this message in the chat box. So you can use the chat box, just your name, where you're joining from, what you are looking forward to learn from this meeting. So you could just drop your name, where you're joining from, and what you are looking forward to learn from today's meeting. So please introduce yourself, your name, where you're joining from. If you're a student, you can write student. If you're a graduate, you can write graduate. If you're NYSC, or if you're an entry level, you can write that. Just drop it. And then also what you're open to learn from this meeting. Also, I would like to say before we start officially, please do well to, if you need, do well to get your notepad, do well to get your pen, do well to get your water bottle, because this meeting is going to be very, very impactful. It's going to be very, very impactful. So please do well to get everything you need while you are in the meeting. So, but before we start, please do well to drop your name, where you're joining us from. If you're a student, you can write student. If you're an NYSC core member, you can write NYSC core member. If if you're an entry-level staff, you could write entry-level staff. If you're still in school, you could also write and most importantly, what you're hoping to learn while on today's meeting. So it's 6:05 and I'm going to start. So my name is Damilola Olatubosun, Florence Damilola Olatubosun, and I am Florence. Okay, so we have some comments in the chat box. We have Lisa joining from Abuja. We have Mohammed joining from Abuja. I'm here to learn how to improve myself, currently serving. Thank you so much, Mohammed, for joining. So I'm going to jump right in. When other people come, they can meet us. So, like I mentioned earlier, my name is Florence Damilola Olatubosun, and I'm the co-founder of Accounts BPO. So for Account BPO, we have Account BPO and also have Account Academy. So, but why did we start Account Academy? We started Account Academy simply because of a persistent question I usually get in my DM. So let me tell you my story. Bear in mind that we will be discussing today how to land your first accounting job, what employers are looking out for beyond your degree. So what was the first thing that happened? What was the first thing that happened? I finished my school. the moment I finished my school. And I'm not going to tell you that, so I finished my school. And after finishing my school, I was looking for a job. Contrary, I finished my school in COVID year 2020. And immediately after COVID, I told myself that I was going to get a job in Abuja. I told myself I was going to get a job in Abuja. That was clear when a lot of my colleagues were like, oh, they want to get a job in Lagos. I told myself I wanted to get a job in Abuja. And after telling myself that, I started applying. And guess what? Before COVID was over, that is before they opened, everybody could now start moving around. That is in the month of July. I got a job and I resumed my first job on the 7th of July that year. And I got my job. But the funny thing was, few months down the lane, I noticed that some of my colleagues that were done with school, that had similar, that got just with similar grade, had their high hand done. Most of them were still struggling with getting a job. So most of them were still struggling with getting a job. And I was wondering why. But of course, what I just did was, so I sent them my CV template and I was like, oh, you can use my CV templates to apply for a job, give them tips on how to sit in interviews, how to express themselves and the likes. But 3 years down the lane, I started my career as an accountant and I was switching from one job to another. But one key question persisted. Everybody reached out to me. Most people reach out to me. Employers reach out to me, or their friends reach out to me and say, hey, Dami, yeah, we know you're no longer working here. Happy 6 years, thank you. So we know that you're no longer working here, but the fact that you're no longer working here, we want you to recommend somebody. We want you to recommend somebody that would work with us. We want you to recommend an accountant. We want you to recommend an entry-level staff that can come and work with us. And I look within my network, I recommend the people I can recommend, but they still come back to me and tell me that, oh, the people that you've recommended are not qualified. The people that you recommend don't have the experience. The people that you recommend can't do the job. But then I know that these people that I recommend are actually good. They are really, really good. That was why I recommended them. So I knew that there was a gap that needed to be filled. And after doing this over and over, training the staff, organizing training for the organization, I decided to set up Account Academy, which is just to train accountants to get their first job and to move on their career level. So that was why we set up Account Academy. So Account Academy was not built as a result of me not getting a job, but simply as a result of knowing that a lot of people that have the right potential could not get a job. So we set up Account Academy. So with that being said, we're going to dive right in. So I'm going to be sharing my screen so that we can all see. I'm going to share my screen. Second. Okay, so if you can see my screen, kindly just use the emoji that you can see my screen. So like I said, how to land your first accounting job, what employers are looking for beyond your degree. What employers are looking for beyond your degree. So and like I mentioned, I want this meeting to be as interactive as possible. So I'm going to be asking those questions. And bear in mind, depending on your level of interaction, there are bonuses, there are free gifts, and just like we promised at the beginning, for everybody that registered for this call, join the call, they are going to get like free CV templates. They're also going to get like lists of 100 organizations with emails that they can actually send their CV to and start their job search journey. So before we start, I would like to ask a question. You can just use the chat button. For those people that already have a job or that are already applying, how many applications have you sent in so far? Have you sent in 10, 20, 50, 100 applications? I would like to know, just use the chat box. I've sent in 20, I've sent in 50, I've sent in 100. I would like to know. And guess what? If you've been sending your application and still have not gotten any feedback, you've been sending your application and still have not heard anything, from your employer. Today, we are going to fix that. So, of course, you know my story. You know my story. I've worked in accounts, I've worked in finance, I've worked in taxation, I've worked in project finance, and now I practically help people to secure a job. So the biggest lie that most graduates believe is that you need more certificates. And I'm here to tell you that even with, if you have your ICANN certificate, that is nice. If you have your ACCA certificate, that is nice, but you don't need extra certificate to get the job because most employers are not necessarily looking out for the certificate. The certificate is just a plus. What they are actually looking out for is value. And now, which will take me to the next, which is how can you, as an employee or someone that is looking for a job, position yourself as someone that have value? Let's take it again. Most employers are not looking for your certificates. Of course, your certificate can just shortlist you, but what most employers are looking out for, they are looking out for skills. They are looking out for your ability to communicate yourself, your ability to communicate. Right. That is what all employers are looking at. And without lots of experience, without experience, that is all that have experience. So that I can tell you, if I'm kids, they'll just do that. For looking to your experience, what experience, how you are able to communicate. Apologies for that. I had issue with my network. So, like I was saying, what most employers will look out for is how well you're able to communicate, how well you're able to communicate value, what you have that you can, what problem you can help them to solve. And if they cannot see that from your CV, they are not going to shortlist you. So, of course, I believe that we are all aware that the ATS would first of all go through your CV and then shortlist you for those organizations that use technology to sort out CVs. And then after that, the employer, you would be shortlisted. But here is one major truth I'd like to tell you. No employer will sit on your CV for more than 5 minutes. All they just want to see is they want to see the value. They want to see how your experience can solve the problem they currently have in the organization, how you're able to communicate your experience, how you're able to express yourself through your CV, your experience, the place you've worked, the relevant skills that you have. They are going to be looking out for these on your CV. And if you, as an individual, do not position yourself well, you will not be shortlisted. So you might have all the credentials, You might have all the experience, but if you cannot clearly communicate this on your CV, I'm here to tell you that you will not be shortlisted because they are going to move to the next person. And I'd like to give you a practical example. In a while now, we are trying to recruit for a particular organization that needs a cost accountant that need a cost accountant in their manufacturing plant. And in the process of recruiting, we requested for CV and I went through CV. And in the era of AI, where people can actually use AI, ChatGPT, Cloud to do their CV, I still see a lot of people make unnecessary mistake. And I'm like wondering, why? You don't necessarily need to make this mistake because you're not necessarily even doing it yourself. You can just enter, properly prompt the AI and the AI will generate a good CV for you that you can then use for the job application. So your CV is what your employers see before they actually meet you. And if you cannot clearly communicate value from your CV, the employer or the recruiter will move to the next person. They will move to the next person because they don't have all the time. So I've gone ahead to put together key things that most employers, especially when they're looking for accountants, are looking out for. One, please, you don't necessarily need to put your CGPA or I graduated with this particular grade, I graduated with this particular level. You don't necessarily need to put that, except maybe your employer specifically requested for it, or maybe you graduated with a first class, or maybe a second class upper, and you feel that, oh, I want to rub it in their face that I graduated with a really, really good grade. That's when you need to put it on your CV. Right? So, but one key thing employers are looking out for is attention to details. And I know somebody on the call is already wondering, how will my employer know I pay attention to details from my CV? Yes, your employer will know from the way you properly justify your fonts, from the font size you use, how it is being organized, whether you make mistake on your CV. Because if you can make mistake on your CV, that shows that you don't even pay attention to details. Also, communication. How well are you communicating? How well are you communicating your experience? And I know somebody, because we have like students, we have NYSC core members on the call, we have entry-level students on the call. Someone is wondering that, okay, how do I communicate my experience? I don't necessarily have the experience. I'm going to tell you how to communicate, and I'm going to use my personal experience. I remember while I was in school, when I went to, I finished from OAU, by the way, and when I was in school, before joining OAU, from going to OAU for my BSc, I'd gone ahead to do my national diploma at Kaduna Polytechnic. And after my national diploma, you are meant to do a mandatory 1 year IT with an organization. So for me, my 1 year IT was with Bank of Agric. So I have an experience, but excluding that experience, during the summer holiday, during the break, during any form of holiday we have, you are, as a member of my family, you are mandated to go to my dad's shop to work. So how did I communicate this experience on my CV when I was even applying for my job for the IT at Bank of Agric? I clearly told them that, oh, using my accounting background, I helped my dad put together all his record, their sales, their expenses, all of these were properly documented to enable my dad carry out decision making. So all of these were clearly stated on my CV. And apart from stating this on my CV, I also told them the tools I made use of, Excel, because your employer wants to know, oh, do you have the capacity to use the relevant tools? What accounting platform are you conversant with? I clearly told them that, oh, while we're not necessarily using an accounting software in my dad's shop, we made use of Excel. So I use Excel to record their sales. I use Excel to record their expenses, calculated their payroll for their staff. So all of this was properly communicated. Then also, you also need to communicate that, oh, these are your abilities. One could be financial analysis, financial modeling, your ability to prepare a financial statement. All of this needs to be clearly communicated on your CV. Then also initiative. To your employer that you take initiative. And just to mention, as an employer myself, every employer wants a staff that can take initiative. No employer, every employer is expecting that you as an employee can actually take initiative. They don't necessarily need to tell you to do things before you do them. So you know, of course, especially when you have like a work plan, you know this is what is expected to be done. They expect that. They don't necessarily need to tell you before you do this. So how can you communicate this on your CV? You could tell them, show them your problem solving skills that, oh, for instance, you prepare the model, and after preparing the model, or maybe your colleague prepared the model, and after preparing the model, you decide to review it, and then you notice maybe some discrepancies in the model, or the model was not properly structured according to the schematic. And then you decide to redo the model. This is you taking initiative without your boss or your superior telling you to do this. And you need to communicate this in your CV. Another example could be, oh, while I was working at a financial education organization, we realized that most of our clients require like a workbook to help them track their finances. So you went ahead to create a workbook or a tracker that can then help your clients. After creating this tracker, then you share this with your colleague so that they could also share with their clients. This is you taking initiative. If you communicate all of this in your CV, your employer will definitely pick you because they can clearly see that you are taking initiative. Then integrity. As an accountant, you are dealing with numbers, you are dealing with finances. You want to be sure that you have the integrity, right? When you make mistake, do you communicate it to your employer or do you just sweep it under the carpet? They need to know all of this and you need to communicate all of this. Then the next thing is Excel proficiency. Of course, we are in the era of AI, artificial intelligence, using different platforms to get things done. But of course, to the basic level, they expect that you should be able to use Excel. You should be able to, depending on the job you're going for. In some cases, you might be required to be able to use Python. You might be required to be able to do Power BI, SQL, name it, whatever platform that your job require you to do, you should be able to use it. And you should communicate that you are really, really good with that particular platform. And this is just to say that please don't go and lie on your CV, because I've seen situations whereby students or employees lie on their CV and say, oh yes, I can do this, I can use this. And then you get the job and they're asking you, oh, come on, use the tool. And then you're like, cricket all around. You don't want that, right? So you don't necessarily need to lie on your CV. Of course, during your interview, they're going to ask you on a scale of 1 to 5, how confident are you with this particular tool? It is left for you to now say, oh, I'm confident in this particular. I can remember a particular interview I sat in, and my interviewer was asking me that, oh, that means I can clearly see that you are very good in Excel. Are you good with Python? And I was like, I'm not good with Python, but while I'm not necessarily good with Python, I've made use of Python before, and I am currently taking a course that would help me to be better at Python. So it is not left for me to go and take that course and become better at Python. Then professionalism, you are having an interview, you should dress well. Of course, even we are in the era whereby, oh, people dress casually, but of course you want to look smart, you want to look neat when you are doing your interview. And professionalism also show in your CV, the way you present your document. Fonts are not just flying here and there. And then, of course, confidence, you should be able to project, you should be able to say that, oh, you know your numbers. You should also be able to clearly tell your employers that you have the ability to learn, right? Because of course they're not expecting you, especially as a student, as an NYSC comment, they're not expecting you to have all the knowledge, but of course they want to be sure that you have the ability to learn. So your employers are looking for that. So what is the hiring formula? And this is for somebody that I think I've moved from one organization to another organization before deciding to set up account BPO. They are looking for one, technical skills. Technical skills. Do you know how to prepare a financial statement? If I give you a bank statement today, can you prepare a financial statement? Do you know how to prepare a management report? Do you know what is a management report entail? All of those things that they taught you in the university, right? Do you have all of those skills? Do you have a good understanding of how accounts are being prepared? Do you have a good understanding of how the job is being done? We are currently in the era of taxes. Organizations want to ensure that whoever they are employing have a good understanding of the tax law. Do you have the good understanding of the tax laws, or are you just coasting around? They want to be sure. Then the next thing is business skills. This is a very, very major skills that every employer is looking out for, because we all understand that even for non-for-profit, they are still hard to ensure that they are impactful. So they want to be sure that you know what the end goal of this organization is. If it's for a profit-making organization, you should have that back of your mind that, oh, everything that we are doing, even in the account department, even though you're not in marketing, you're not in sales, you're not necessarily in the management level, they want to be sure that they will want a situation whereby you yourself are sure that everything they are doing is towards the bottom line, which is making profit. If you're in the non-governmental space, they want to be sure that, oh, whatever you're doing is impactful. So they want you to understand. So you need to have like the business skill, and you should have the ability to communicate. You should have the ability to make judgments, put priority. Oh, what is the best thing to do at this point that would definitely impact our bottom line? They want to say all of this, and they can sense this from speaking to you. They can sense this from speaking to you. They can even sense this from how you communicate in terms of, oh, in everything you are doing, are you tying it to the bottom line? Are you tying it to key metrics of the organization? For instance, we could have two people sitting for an interview. One person could say, oh, I prepared the financial statement, and that's all for that person. The other person could say, yes, I prepared the financial statement for this particular period. This is to enable the organization to determine the profit that they made for this period, so as to enable the shareholders, so as to enable them pay the shareholders the appropriate dividend. You could clearly see that you do not just prepare the financial statement, you tie it to the bottom line, which is for them to make profit. And of course, the interest of the relevant key stakeholders in the organization, which is the shareholders. So next is evidence, proof, project results, your portfolio. And this is where a lot of students or graduates tell you that, oh, they are lacking. They'll tell you that, I have the technical knowledge, I think I have the business skills, but I don't have evidence. I've not done it before. So I always say this, that you don't necessarily have to wait until you're on a job for you to start building your proof. You don't necessarily have to wait until you get a job for you to start building your results. You don't necessarily have to wait until a job for you to start building your portfolio. And I'm going to give you an example. I remember sitting for an interview, and the CEO was like, hey, Dami, we love your CV and I love your interview so far, but I would like you to walk me through how you plan your day. And funny thing is, if you know me, I enjoy planning my day. So I just walked the CEO through. I was like, oh, before I plan my day, I start my day in the nights before, which is I kind of review whatever had gone on during the day, and then I note it down on my jotter. I have a lot of jotter, by the way, because I enjoy writing. Note it down on my jotter, and then the next day, I plan it the night before. I ask myself, what do I want to achieve the next day? And then all of this is being clearly stated. And then from there, when I wake up the next morning, I know what to do. So which means I'm not necessarily starting my day, not knowing what to do, and then start planning my day. No, no, no. I plan my day the night before. So from just speaking to the CEO could clearly see that, okay, yeah, this lady know her onions. Another way you could get evidence for job, you could have proof, you could have projects, is you can volunteer with organization. These days, you can easily shadow somebody. And what does it mean to shadow somebody? You could just reach out to maybe an accountant, somebody in the managerial level, a task consultant, and say, oh, I just want to come to your office for 2 weeks just to see how you carry out your day, just to see how you carry out, you engage your clients, you speak to your clients, you go to the tax office, you carry out your job. I just want to understand. You go and shadow somebody, which is one of the key things we even do at Account Academy. Then another thing could be that you could actually volunteer. Oh, I want to volunteer. A lot of organizations, when they are planning, they need somebody to help them track their numbers. You could volunteer as a finance person and help them track their numbers. This is you building your evidence. Another could be you could sign up for virtual internship. There are lots of virtual internship online these days. If you just Google, you'll see a lot of virtual interview and internship, and all you just need to do is just to register, get shortlisted, and then you are in, and then you participate in the virtual internship. And when you have all of this experience, you could put it in your CV, and whoever that is reviewing your CV would know that, oh, you've actually even taken a step to actually carry out to test what you have been taught in school. And then last is visibility. We're in the era of visibility. I cannot but say this. We're in the era of visibility. You as an employee, you have to be visible. And if you're not visible, how will your employee know you? And I know a lot of people tell you that, oh, Tammy, yeah, I'm visible on LinkedIn. I used to post every day and all of that. That is not the only way to be visible. You could be visible by attending events. You could be visible by attending an event. You could be visible by, and not just physical events. It could even be virtual event like this webinar that we are having. But ensure that you are participating. You're not just hosting or being silent. You are visible. People that could attend know that, oh, somebody named Mohammed is on the call. Somebody named Lisa is on the call. You should be visible to everybody that is attending. Another way of being visible is connecting with the right people. And I'm here to tell you that I think all the job, apart from my last job before accounts, I got it via recommendation. My first job, I got it not necessarily via recommendation, via referral, via somebody saying, "Oh, this particular organization is recruiting, sending your CV." Right? This particular is sending your CV, and then you send in your CV, and then you are shortlisted. Of course, the fact that you are being referred does not necessarily mean that you will not go through all the process. It just kind of help you. So visibility has to do with you positioning yourself for the right person to see you. And I'm going to walk you through I'm going to walk you through my own journey. Like I mentioned, all of the job that I've done, most of them came through referrals, came through somebody. The first job I got was from the first job where I worked as an accounting technician. I got it from a senior colleague of mine posting that, oh, this particular organization is recruiting. The senior colleague just posted it on the WhatsApp community. So what did I do to be visible? I was on the WhatsApp community and I was going through. I did not just archive the WhatsApp community. I was going through. That was how I was able to see that this particular organization is recruiting. And what did I do? I pick up the information and then went to their website and then I applied for the job. And of course, I went through the test. I went through the interview, the first interview, and then the final interview before I got the first job. My second job, while I was working in this particular organization as an accounting tech, okay, as at that time, I've actually progressed and I was now an accounting associate. When I was working as an accounting associate, someone just reached out to me and was like, oh, Dami, we see the job you do at this organization. We currently need a finance officer in this particular NGO and we want you to come who want to come work for them. But of course, you still need to send in your CV, you still need to interview. And if you are shortlisted, then you will get the job. And I submitted my CV. After submitting my CV, I went through their test and I went through their interview and I was shortlisted for the job. But how was I visible in that scenario? I was visible by doing a good job on my job, because if I was not doing a good job in the accounting firm, the person would not see me and the person would not recommend me. And then the next job I got, same thing. People see the good work I'm doing and then they feel that, oh, you could actually be in this organization. And that was it. So that is to tell you that, of course, we always advise that be visible on platforms like LinkedIn. Use your socials to show your capability. Talk about your work on a daily basis. That is a good way to position yourself. But also, you need to ensure that you're also within the right people. You're in good job community. You're also active. You're not just a member of that community, but being a member of that community, you're also active. You're going through the communication and you're interacting with it. And you're interacting with it. So why are you not getting interviews? Why are you not getting interviews? The reason why you're not getting interview, and I've been doing, I'm going to use my personal story and I'm going to tell you why. Why are you not getting interview? You're sending one CV to everywhere. Yes. You're sending one CV. Shola, you're sending one CV. They will ask for a finance officer, you send that CV. They will ask for financial analyst, you send that CV. They will ask for financial advisor, you send that. They will ask for a cost accountant, you send that same CV. You're sending one CV to all the different job opportunities, and that is not supposed to be so. whenever you see a job opportunity, it will definitely tell you the job description, what they expect you to do while you're on that job. You're meant to take up the job description and then use it to create your CV, right? I'm not saying you should lie on your CV, but then use the job description to build your CV. So, and how can you do this? For instance, if you are already working as an accountant in an organization and then you saw an opportunity, they are requesting for a cost accountant, you should be able to tell them that while you're on the job as an accountant, you also ensure that you manage the cost. You're able to identify the direct cost of producing a particular unit. You need to be able to show them that, oh, you know the work of a cost accountant. You need to be able to show all of this in your CV. So, which means that you cannot use that CV that you use for the work of an accountant or a tax consultant for a cost accountant. You need to ensure that you tailor it. Then the next is no portfolio. So no portfolio, you've not even shown that, oh, I've been able to do this. And the point is that when we say show portfolio, it's not necessarily you just, it's not just you just, oh, being fictitious. It could be from your volunteering experience. It could be from you teaching in secondary school. It could even be from you teaching your neighbors. Those, when the children are growing up and they're like, Auntie, come and solve an assignment for me. It's that, right? You need to be able to show all of that, be your portfolio. And then no practical accounting experience. Like I've said over and over again, you need to have the experience because that is what employer. Also, you need to have a no LinkedIn presence. Oh, I cannot overemphasize. I remember some time ago, I got an offer on someone reached out to me on LinkedIn and was like, oh, went through your we are currently recruiting for this particular role, and we feel that you'll be the best fit for this particular role. And while I did not take the offer because, of course, it was not in alignment with what I wanted for my career, as at that time, I was, I got someone, someone reached out to me, right? Someone reached out to me. So that is to someone reached out to me, and I've gotten several people reaching out to me in my DM, sending me offers and the like. So, but you need to have a presence on LinkedIn. Your LinkedIn is the platform for professionals, is a social media platform for professionals. So that is like the perfect platform for you as an accountant, as a finance professional to show yourself. For you as a finance professional to show yourself that, oh, I can do this. And that this could be from you positioning yourself as a thought leader, writing. I'm not saying you should go and write ChatGPT because there are lots of ChatGPT article right now on LinkedIn, but it's just giving your thought, oh, this is what I think, right? This is what I think. So, for instance, the government, if you're conversant with what is happening in the tax world, the government just introduced preemptive tax guidance, how to, how people that are not in the formal economy can be properly taxed. You could read it up, pick it up, read it up, and then give your opinion on LinkedIn, right? You're not give your opinion on LinkedIn and just say, oh, this is it. It could be from you, or you read someone's article, and then you're like, oh, I read this person's article, and you can say, oh, you could ask a question, or you could give your own contribution in the comments. I know of a friend of mine that she was able to meet a top HR person from commenting on the person's LinkedIn post when the person post, and she was not even doing it because she wanted to like connect with the person. She was just doing it out of the fact that, oh, she enjoyed the person's post and she was just engaging with it. So not this is to tell you that you don't just create a LinkedIn profile and say, oh yes, they said we should create a LinkedIn profile or create a LinkedIn presence, and then you do this and then you just and then it's just crickets there. Try as much as possible. You're engaging with other professionals. You're speaking. You're also sharing your thoughts. Of course, no networking. Networking, I cannot emphasize this. We are currently on the call. I don't know how many of us are on the call, but when it is time for question and answer, a lot of people are going to send in their question. You could introduce yourself. I am so person. I'm currently looking for this type of opportunity. If anybody has this type of opportunity, they should let you know. And all of that. We also have like a talent community. You could introduce yourself and say, oh, you could decide that on a Monday, you could decide to say, oh, my name is this. I'm currently doing this. These are my skill sets. I'm trying to improve on this. And I was looking for opportunity in this particular field. And somebody that you never know, somebody might have the opportunity and they'll give it to you because you were trying to network. Of course, no follow up. No follow up. I cannot overemphasize this, right? No follow up. I know a lot of people that will say that, oh, I cannot keep following up on these people. But the truth is that you are the one that know what you want. You're the one that need the interview, right? So try as much as possible, you follow up. Okay, so you've networked with somebody, you went for an event, and then you met this HR professional, you met this top accounting person. The person was like, oh, send me your CV. I'm going to look at it. And after sending your CV, you reach out the first time, the person said, oh, okay, I'm still looking at it. And then you feel that, oh, I should not reach out again. Please reach out. Because the truth is that this particular person that you've given your CV have thousands of one things that they are doing. Have thousands of one thing they are doing. And not necessarily, they're not necessarily ghosting you because they want to ghost you. The reason why it seems as if they are ghosting you is simply because they have a lot of things on their to-dos. And to be honest, you're not necessarily yeah, you are not necessarily a priority for them. So you have to follow up. Who knows? You could just follow up and that day they'll be on their phone and they'll see your message and they'll be like, oh, I promised this person something. And then that's it, you've gotten it. So please, I want to say this for everybody on the call that will be entering the job market, that's currently in the labor market, stop blaming the economy. I'm here to tell you that while I know a lot of people tell you that, oh, there are no jobs, I'm here to tell you that is a lie. There are a lot of jobs. You just need to position yourself. Internally at Account BPO, we are currently even hiring for a cost accountant. We're currently hiring for a cost accountant. So if you're a cost accountant, you can do well to, or if you're interested in cost accounting and you're in Abuja, you can do well to send a CV and somebody will reach out to you, right? Apart from apart from apart from hiring for the role of a cost accountant, we're also hiring for any level accountant that is open to working remotely, of maybe one for an hybrid role. So not necessarily fully remote. So maybe like 4 days you need to go into the office. So there are lots of opportunities. The only thing is that you need to position yourself and you need to be willing to work, because of course we also have people that, oh, they want the job but they're not ready to do the work. Then I would like us to take a, I would like us to have something like an icebreaker right now. And I'm going to be going to the chat box to see. So, how many applications have you applied for? I want you to ask yourself, how many applications have you applied for? And how many CV did you use? Did you use when you're applying for it? So please answer me. You can just put it in the chat box. How many applications have you applied for? And how many applications have you applied for? And how many how many applications have you applied for? How many CV did you use? So I'd like to know, just use it in the chat box. If you know that, oh, I've applied for 10 applications and I only use one CV, let us know in the chat box. This is the truth moment. Let us know. Drop it in the chat box that I only use one CV. I only use one CV. So I'm going to the chat box to see. Okay, Mary said 20 applications and one CV. So Mary, Precious, this is the perfect time for you to understand that you should actually tailor your CV. And I know that, oh, you might feel that it's difficult, but to be honest, job hunting is a full-time business, the full-time role, so you need to take it seriously. So, said 5 applications, I use 3 CVs. 5 applications, I use CVs. So I would like to know other people, how many applications have you sent in, and how many applications have you sent in? I would like to know. Okay, so while we are um while we are still getting entries in the chat box, it says here that how do you get results for your CV? The best way to get results when you are sending in applications is, don't just state your duty. I'm responsible for accounting. I'm responsible for paying the management account. I'm responsible for filing the taxes. Don't do that. You should state your achievements and you should brag. You should blow your trumpet to the best of your ability. You should blow your trumpet. So, for instance, I remember when I was talking about the things I did at the NGO, I told them that, oh, one of the key things I did was to prepare a budget, monitor the actual transaction, and also report the variance for a particular project. And not only, apart from even telling them all of that, I told the on my CV that this budget that was handling was to the tune of this amount in dollars. right? The amount was quite huge because the project itself was really, really big. But I told them it was to the tune of this amount in dollars. So what that is communicating is that you are not just doing the job. For you to be responsible for that particular job to that sum, you must be really, really competent. Do you get? You must be really, really competent. So for instance, now I said here that prepared monthly bank reconciliation, pay monthly bank reconciliation for accounts exceeding 50 million with 100% accuracy. So now, if I'm an employer and I'm like, this person has managed the bank reconciliation of account that exceed 50 million naira, it signals something. It shows that, okay, to a large extent, this person has significant amount of confidence. So I'm here to tell you that brag about it. Okay, you prepare financial statements. How many financial statements? State it. I've prepared 100 financial statements. If you are a tax consultant or you, because they, oh, I've been able to get this amount of tax clearance certificate. If you've participated in audit, I've been able to do this audit and we're able to identify this amount we're able to identify this amount in discrepancies where if you're able to save people, maybe as a result of doing your job, you're able to save money. You should say it, well, we're able to save money to the tune of this. You should actually show your achievement. You should brag. Your CV is like your bragging sheet. And another thing I would want to say to employees is that have a bragging sheet. If you are a pen and jotter person like me, have a journal where you document every achievement that you have achieved. If you did a calculation and the calculation was help your boss to do something, state it. I did this calculation. I did this calculation and it was able to help my boss to do this. If you create a workbook, I created this workbook and this amount of people used my workbook without issue. You should state all of that in your bragging sheet because apart from helping you to build your CV, it also helps you to negotiate for increase. It also helps you to negotiate for increase. So ensure that you show your achievements in numbers and skill accuracy and not just your duty. So we had the intention to do a live CV review, where we would have members of the call will send in their CV and then we are going to review it during the call. But we decided to move that to our next webinar so that people can participate. So if you would like to attend if you'd like to attend, have like a live CV review, please stay to the end of the call because we have something for you. Now, how do you get the experience without experience? I think I've said this, and I'm going to reiterate this again. You don't need employment first, you just need proof. One is volunteering. I think I've said a lot about volunteering. How can you volunteer? When I was growing up, while I volunteered at my dad's shop and my mom's shop, it was not I won't call it it was not a voluntary exercise. It was more like a compulsory exercise that then helped me in the future, right? But yours can be voluntary. You can go to your dad's shop, you can go to your mom's shop, you could go to your neighbor's store and assist them, right? That is an experience. Family business. In my own case was family business. Freelancing. There are lots of small business owners that just need you to help them put their books together. You could practice with those small business owners. You could ask for their bank statement, their record, the books that they keep their record. The funny thing is, even the woman that owned a kiosk in front of my house, she has a book where she documents, oh, this was what she sold. So you could reach out to her and say, ma, please let me help you make sense of your numbers. That is you gathering experience. Internship could be virtual, it could be physical, it could be on-site, it could be paid, it could be unpaid. You can sign up for internship, right? NGO work, a lot of NGOs, when they're having their projects, they might need support. You could sign up for this. Your church account, you could go to your church and say, let me go to the account department to assist them. They're definitely going to listen to you, especially if your church is a small church. They're definitely going to listen to you. So in case you are looking for how to get experience, this is me telling you for free. Go to your church today. And if you're a Muslim, go to your mosque today and tell them you want to help them with their numbers. Then school association. Of course, it doesn't have to be your university. It could be your secondary school. Go to your secondary school. Tell them that, I want to do this. I want to support them with this. And you'll be surprised. You'll get a yes. And then personal bookkeeping. How are you tracking your spending? A lot of people are struggling to even track their spending and they want to help other people to track. So you start with yourself. Accounting stimulation. A lot of accounting stimulation are available online, right? So create the experience you want. You don't necessarily have to wait for your experience. So what should you tell you today? As an accountant or as a finance professional, the most crucial thing that you need to learn Excel. I know that we are in the era of Claude. Claude can do a lot of financial model for you, but for you to make sense of it, you want to be able to make sense of it, even when Claude is done doing its magic, you need to make sense of it. So you need to learn Excel. So which means that if you have no experience, little to no experience on Excel, this is a wake-up call for you to actually pick it up and start learning Excel. Of course, accounting software. If you're an accountant, we are in the era where a lot of organizations are using software. You need to learn accounting software like Sage, QuickBooks, Zero, name it. There are a lot of accounting software. You need to learn all of this. Financial modeling. Financial modeling is a very crucial skill if you intend to go into the finance world, if you intend to go into even infrastructure finance, development finance, climate finance, name it. If you know that, oh, you want to actually practice, you need to learn financial modeling. And to be honest, it's not difficult to learn financial modeling. You just need to have it at the back of your mind that I want to learn financial modeling. And then you start gathering resources, you start attending classes, you take courses, and then you learn. And just to tell you, even I myself, even in my career, at this stage in my career, I'm still learning. I create time on a daily basis, even if it is a 15-minute, a 20-minute learning, I try as much as possible to put in that, because the 15 minutes that you put in today, tomorrow, next tomorrow will definitely compound over time. Then bank reconciliation, this is very crucial, especially if you want to work as an accountant, you need to know how to reconcile. You need to reconcile bank and cash and all financial transaction. Power BI is also important. Payroll, you need to be able to calculate all the statutory deductions. You need to be able to calculate all the taxes. All of these are very, very relevant. So you need to know how to do all of this. And you will know the funny thing is the bedrock of all of this starts with Excel. The bedrock of all of this start with Excel. If you are very good at Excel, you will be able to do your financial modeling. You will be able to do your bank reconciliation. You'll be able to do your payroll. You'll be able to do virtually everything, right? So it is very, very important. If you need to learn how to calculate your taxes, company income tax, development levy, VAT, WHT, payee, all of that. You need to learn how to use it. And the good news is that you don't necessarily have to be perfect. You don't necessarily have to be like on a scale of 100, like, I'm 100% perfect. Or on a scale of 1 to 5, I can use it 5%. You don't necessarily have to do that. You don't necessarily have to be that, but you need to at least have a good idea how to use all of this, right? So, and when you learn how to use all of this, you then state it. Sorry. You then state it that, oh, I can use all of this. I can use all of this. So I think I've said a lot about communication, right? So as an accountant, you should be able to tell your story. Everybody loves stories. And if you know, when we are little, your parent told you stories, and most of the stories your parent told you, you were able to remember it. So if you want to be unforgettable, when you sit for interviews, when you send in your CV, you should be able to tell good stories with numbers. You should tell good stories with numbers. You should be able to explain the numbers, how it's fitting. Just like when we are talking about financial management or financial statement, you tell the person that, oh, the information from your income statement will feed into your statement of financial position, also feed in your statement of cash flow. You know the way it is being interconnected. You should be able to explain all of the numbers, the increase, the decrease, and all of that. So 5 key mistakes that employees make. Generic CV, I think we've spoken about that. And applying randomly. For my own story, I told you that when I was done with school, the first thing I told myself was I wanted to apply to organizations in Abuja. So which means that even when I see opportunities in Lagos, I told myself I was not interested. So I was just not applying randomly. And then also I kind of narrowed it and I told myself I don't want the job of an accountant. I wanted the job in an audit firm. So this kind of helped me to avoid applying randomly and save me of the number of CVs that I'm preparing, right? Then practical skills. You need to have practical skills. And I've told you how to create practical skills. Your LinkedIn, you need to optimize your LinkedIn. You need to optimize your LinkedIn. Set it up. Put good pictures and position yourself well. Then instead of waiting, start networking. Then I told us already the networking formula. First is your alumni network. My first job came from my alumni network. So leverage on your alumni network if you are not doing that. LinkedIn, professional event, career fair, right? Attend all of these. It could be virtual, it could be physical. Attend all of these. ICANN meeting if you're a student of ICANN, you could attend ICANN meetings. Recruiters, a lot of recruiters tend to have like job fair. Attend all of these. Reach out to them on this platform, on LinkedIn, on their website. Reach out to them. WhatsApp group. And a funny thing, a lot of people underrate WhatsApp group, right? But one mistake they forget is that a lot of people chat on WhatsApp. So which means that your employer is chatting on WhatsApp. The person that will employ is on WhatsApp. So leverage on your WhatsApp group. Who knows? You could find your next employer or your next customer on WhatsApp. So we kind of create like a 90-day roadmap for everybody that wants to get their next job. And I'm here to tell you that if you follow this roadmap, right, you would get the job if you follow the roadmap, because that's been tested for people within our inner circle, for people that have used it on personally, right? So if you decide to use this roadmap, you're definitely going to get it. One is the foundation. We build your CV, right? Personally, you could have something like a CV folder, right? CV folder. You could ask yourself, what are the various industries I want to apply to? Accounting, taxation, name it, all of those industries. And then you then start creating CVs based on the job opportunities, and then you just put it there. So in the future, if you're even applying to, so maybe you've applied for maybe a cost accounting role or a tax accountant role, and you now see another opportunity, it's also tax accountant. You don't necessarily have to start rebuilding. You could still use that same tax accountant role, maybe tweak it here and there, and then you submit. So which means that you're not spending a lot of time rebuilding your CV. Update your LinkedIn profile. If you don't have like a job, tell them, oh, these are my experiences, these are the industries I would like to work in. Excel skills, I cannot overemphasize this. You need to build your Excel skills. If you don't have that, start networking. You can start networking from this WhatsApp, from our platform here. You can start saying, oh, this is my name, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm hoping to get. Just name it. Then build your proof. Interview practice, like I mentioned, we will be having an interview practice section in our next webinar. So you might want to join, volunteer, work, build your portfolio, learn an accounting software, how to use an accounting software, then application, send in your application, attend mock interviews, reach out to people that you've worked with or people that can give you a referral. Who knows, you could even reach out to me and I will give you a referral. Then follow up on a daily basis and practice. Just repeat this. And I can assure you, if you follow this roadmap, you're definitely going to get a job in the next 3 months. Now, um, the practical session, a lot of people ask, tell me about yourself. And I always say this, that this is the best way to sell yourself. Because it's like an open check. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself, like an open check for anybody. So when you finally get to the interview stage and they're asking, tell me about yourself, you should be able to tell them about yourself. And I always say this, that tell them about what you've done, what you're currently doing, what you hope to do in the future, and add something fun that they would definitely remind you of. And a good way to do this is you could tell them that, oh, this is my experience. I have worked in this organization or this particular industry. Personally, I feel instead of mentioning organization, except the organization is well known, you want to just mention the industry. Then you say, oh, this is what I'm currently doing if you are working already. And then, oh, my career aspiration is to maybe to become a development finance professional, name it. And then something fun about yourself. You could say that, oh, I enjoy watching Korean movie. By the way, I enjoy watching Korean movie. You could tell them that I enjoy watching Korean movie and just something fun so that they can remember you, just something memorable. So tell me about yourself is like a blank check, right? And you should be able to say all of this. And we will be practicing all of this in our next webinar, right? We'll be practicing all of this in our next webinar. So, of course, where do you start from? Practice your Excel daily, post on LinkedIn, read annual report. I mentioned a report by the government on taxes. You could do that. Practice your interview, ensure that you network with someone on a weekly basis. It could be fair. LinkedIn, volunteer somewhere, study financial statement, build a portfolio. So here's the daily checklist. 30 minutes on Excel. Like for me, what I do for my learning, I ensure that at least on a daily basis, I learn something, even if it's just for 15 minutes. But the good news is that if I'm able to do that 15 minutes on a daily basis, it's definitely going to compound over the year. Just you winning on a daily basis. Read one accounting article, connect with one professional, and you could connect with me today. Practice one accounting interview question. Practice one interview question and apply for one job. Imagine if you apply for one job every day, at the end of the month, you've applied for 30 jobs. So imagine if you double down and you apply for maybe 2 jobs or 3 jobs in a day. It means that at the end of the day, you would have about 30, 90 jobs that you've applied for. So, of course, we are giving our free resources, which include CV templates to everybody that joined the call. Apart from CV template, we've also created a list of 100 organizations that you can start your application journey with. So you don't necessarily have to wait. We have their emails already as a result of liaising past interactions with them. We have their emails and we have all of these emails. All you just need to do is take all of this information and start submitting your CV. So all of this will be shared with you at the end of the call. So like I told you, the reason why we created Accounting Academy was because of I was tired of seeing a lot of graduate people that are smart, unemployed. While I was moving from one job to another, and it wasn't like, how are you doing it? It wasn't like, how are you doing it? So please take advantage of this. So a quick summary about Account Academy. We don't just we don't just say, oh, theoretical. We try as much as possible to be as practical as possible. So which means that you get all the experience that you need as an accountant at Account Academy. We organize live classes, mock interviews. We have like a WhatsApp community where we share opportunities, both internal opportunities that is related to our clients and external opportunities as a result of the industry that we are playing it in. We share all of this opportunity on the WhatsApp platform. We also offer LinkedIn optimization, CV reviews. We do all of this. We teach you on how to, we have our academy teach you on how to do your taxes, calculate CIC, development levy, payee, or STRS, Lagos State Internal IRS, name it, so that you can actually have all the relevant skills as an accountant. But guess what? We don't just teach you all of this. We also give you the room to actually practice all of this. So you can use that as an opportunity to build your portfolio. We also give you the opportunity to shadow key industry leaders in the industry so that you have an idea of how their day go as an accountant. So even if you're like, oh, I want to work as a tax consultant, I want to work as an auditor, and you're wondering, oh, I don't really know if I would really like it, you could decide to shadow somebody, and then we give you the opportunity to shadow somebody. The academy actually helps you to do that. So we have an academy that helps you to do this. So for up next, our next class, which is more like ace your accounting interview. This is for people that want to actually ace their accounting interview. And during the webinar, we will be talking about 50 most common accounting question and how to answer it. We'll talk about 50 most, how you can master it and how to answer it. As a result of me sitting in interviews and also interviewing people, I can tell you for a fact that there are some common accounting questions that they are going to ask you, especially if you're in the accounting, they're in the finance world. How to answer technical accounting question. Of course, I've tested this a lot. Even this week that just went, I also tested because I had to interview some people. So how to answer technical accounting questions, live mock interview, just to stimulate and ensure that you are in an interview setting, how you can answer all of this question. Then, of course, tell me about yourself. So we are going to practice it. How to tell me about, and I can tell you something for a fact. If you can tell me about yourself, I think you are 50%. You've gotten 50%. If you can pass out tell me about yourself question, if you can ace it, you're 50% gone because they already like you. If they like you from you expressing yourself, they already like you already, and that's 50%. And we're all humans and we are partial. So if I like you, I like you. That's just it. And also other tough account interview questions we would do all of that during the ACE your accounting interview. Then understand what employer expects in the first day of your job, because just like I mentioned, I've recommended, and then the employer will come back to me and say, no, this person is not doing what they are being hired for. So as an accountant, what is expected of you? And the good news is that for joining this particular webinar, for this entering this particular masterclass, you are going to get a bonus. We give you like 100 interview questions now to answer it so that you can practice it on your own time. You also have an accounting interview cheat sheet, Excel test solutions for accountants. Then we also have like a live CV section, a live CV review section. So we are going to pick up your CV and we are going to pick up your CV and we are going to review it for you so that you can know, oh, this is what I should do better. This is what I should not do better. And the good news is that it's a paid masterclass and we are offering it for shawarma money because we know a lot of you eat shawarma. And I know a decent shawarma in Nigeria right now costs an average of, let's say, 5,000, 4 to 5,000 naira. So we are actually offering it for shawarma money. So we are telling you, don't buy shawarma, pay for this and get your next job. So, and you can sign up for this by just scanning the QR code. And last week Sunday was my birthday. And because of my birthday, I've decided, let's give this masterclass. We are giving it, instead of you paying 5,000 naira, we are like, for the first 10 people that pay for the masterclass, they can pay 4,000 naira instead of 10,000 naira in celebration of my birthday. I was hoping that somebody would at least use the celebration sign in the chat box and say, oh, happy birthday. Oh. So, but nonetheless, it's my birthday, and in the mood of celebration, I'm giving, instead of you paying 5,000 naira, you can pay 4,000 naira. So you can scan the QR code or you can send the money to this particular account number and send us a screenshot. So for the first 10 people, because we'll be having a live CV review and we are trying as much as possible. I am trying as much as possible to manage my energy. So we also don't want a situation whereby a lot of people sign up and then we have lots of people to practice with, a lot of people to review their CV. So that is why we are limiting it to just first 10 people that make their transfer, first 10 people that make their transfer. So while this is ongoing, I would like to also talk about our academy, the full academy itself. So what is the academy all about? The academy is it's an academy, it's a full academy for the next 12 weeks. So for this academy, it's an academy for people that, it is not for everybody, it is for people that are currently in their final year, people that they are currently serving, people that are hoping to get their next accounting job. And the reason why we are restricting it to those people is because the end goal of the academy is to ensure that you get a job. The end goal of the academy is to ensure that you get a job or you get an internship. And what is the academy all about? One, while on the academy, you are going to learn how to prepare financial statements, bank reconciliation, payroll management, auditing, virtually everything that you need to position yourself as a finance professional, everything you need to position yourself as an accountant in this academy. And the good news is that even during the academy, we are going to have CV optimization, LinkedIn optimization. So we'll pick up your LinkedIn and we'll help you optimize it to position you better for more visibility. And members of the academy would also get internship opportunities. And the reason is because most people complain of, oh, we don't have the experience, I don't have the experience. So we want you to have the experience when you're in the academy. So we give you an internship opportunity. We give you an opportunity to shadow somebody. Depending on where you are in the country, we give you an opportunity to shadow somebody. And after giving you an opportunity to shadow somebody, for the top performers, they are definitely going to have like job placements where they'll be placed in an opportunity for a few months. And then based on their performance, they can then be retained. So it's like a win-win for you. And in the mood of celebration, I don't know why everything is just coming in today. In the mood of celebration, we got sponsors. Someone is sponsoring, I think 20 to 25 people, I'm not sure, 20 to 25 people. The person is paying part of their tuition fee. The current tuition fee is around 45,000 naira for the academy for 12 weeks. And it's on a weekend. So which means that even if you're busy during the weekday, you can attend during the weekend. And you attend during the weekend, you get live recording, which means you can play back. You're also joining the community. So which means that even when you get the job and you are struggling with something on the job, you could always drop it in the community. Oh, I'm trying to do this. Can somebody guide me? And somebody will be there to support you. So you have like an add-on support because you're a member of that community. So like I mentioned, somebody sponsored, I think 20-25%. I'm not too sure. 20-25%. And the person is like, oh, give them a discount. She's interested in what we are doing at Account Academy. And she was like, oh, give them a discount. And instead of paying 45,000 naira, the person is saying you pay, instead of paying 45, the person is going to pay, I think, 10 to 25% off the 45,000 naira. The person is paying it. The person have paid already. So it's not as if the person will pay. The person has paid already. So for the first people to, so what you are meant to do to get the scholarship is you scan the QR code. Like I mentioned, is limited. I think it's just for 20 to 25 people. So you scan the QR code, it will take you to a form. You're meant to fill the form, tell us your why, just record a simple video. It could be a 1 minute or 2 minute